Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we introduce our new segment, Chicken Talk. Is Tim Clancy hot on Jack Doherty? We discuss the absolute shite that was UCDOA, the pitch in Turner's Cross, and will Longford get a new Manager Pounce? All this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 19, Episode 195 of the Other Three Amigos podcast. A reminder, we are your award-winning podcast. You can also join us on Patreon, patreon.com/ToeTap, where you can join us for a $5, or if you want to help us out a little bit more, you can throw us a $10 if you feel like. We still get the same amount of shit. Be sure to retweet it, as it's so important to help the pod grow. Even the odd like helps us here and there, and give us a follow on Instagram. The proud sponsor of Jack Doherty's booths. We're still at €100 for Marymount. There's nothing really else left to do but introduce my other two amigos. Declan McCormack, you recorded last Damas. How did that go?
Yeah, very good, Dan. Thanks for asking, inquiring, as you always do. It's nice to be appreciated. Yeah, look, I mean, we had a chat about the last week in Irish women's football. We had a look forward to the next week. We discussed various aspects of everything from Vera Poe to Mick Ring being on podcasts and kind of everything in between. And got followed by a couple of senior players in the league again today on Twitter and things like that. So
just going to say follow home.
Who's a more interesting ring, Decky?
Who's the more interesting ring? Scotty. To be fair, no, that's a question that can't be answered. I don't normally duck out of questions or duck away from questions.
You're not going to defend Toe Tap's Eileen ring, no?
Of course I would, but I mean, you're asking about the most interesting ring, which is a very loaded question because Mick has a lot of stories. Mick had a lot of stories.
Mick's on the dark side now,
very interesting, which are very interesting. Well, no, to be fair now, Mick is working for the club, volunteering for the club, I should say, for a long time, and he's now had conditions imposed upon him, as opposed to working for the dark side, as you said. So I wouldn't label that.
There's loads of people who volunteer,
I know you volunteer, Wayne, from time to time, don't you? I mean,
yeah, I do.
It's actually one of the funny things.
Certain people might know I do, but I still do.
Yeah, John O'Sullivan is knee deep in Toe Tap, and volunteers a lot of his time to the women's side of the club. So the whole Toe Tap aren't welcome is more. Toe Tap aren't welcome when it suits us, really, isn't it?
I think it's more you, to be honest.
It does feel that kind of way, you and me. It does kind of feel as if we're... Well, of course, you're actually doing voluntary work, so I'm the only one who's completely outcast.
Shh, I don't think they know.
But yeah, okay. We'll say nothing, Move on, Dan, move on.
Well, I have to introduce Wayne Mullins. I mean, we've been already talking the last 2-3 minutes. Wayne, how are we getting on?
Hi, Dan, how are you?
Sure, not too bad. But I'm just wondering, the whole dark side thing. If
I'm only
say a stormtrooper in Star Wars, you take no mercy on one of them because they're still working for the dark side. Do you know what I mean?
Mix different.
He's Yoda underneath or something like that.
How would you describe him? I would say what's the word I'm looking for? Clean, there's no there's a word I can't think of. I'll think of the word later.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, we'll go into a brand new segment here on Toe Tap. It is Chicken Talk.
Now this is Chicken Talk. This is what they say when the chickens they do laugh.
The challenge has been officially set by Toe Tap to the club. Decky, you're the one who composed this email. How are we feeling about toe tap taking on those chickens.
I'm not. Are you going to do that every time you go? Because we'll be here all late. To be fair,
guys,
let me.
This be me if I was the club.
Okay, well, thankfully you're not. So let's just drive on, I suppose. Can I just first say, Dan, that it wasn't me who composed the email. My version of the email was rejected out of hand. So we won't say who. We won't say who did. Basically write the email, but it wasn't me. But yes, look, the challenge was issued. We've asked him for a week. Well, not we asked him for a week. We said, look, if you could leave us know within a week if you're willing to accept it or not. As people will hear later on in the voice apps, somebody did inquire from Aaron Howie on his TikTok live with whatever that is, to be honest with you. But anyway, obviously it's a thing.
Howie does
Aaron
a TikTok
was on
live?
And it seemingly so, according to the WhatsApp messages. And he was asked, and his response, I don't know.
He does he makes up a city graphic while he's just like chilling.
I was going to say something to do with the graphics. Yeah. So
these young people these days.
He responded and said that he was ready. So look, we know there's people at the club who are keen to accept the challenge. Basically, the challenge was laid down. If we win, if the club accepts the challenge, they don't have to win the challenge, just accept the challenge. We said we would donate €500 to their charity partners. And then if we won the challenge, that the club would withdraw its...
The charity would have to give us £500.
No. That the club would withdraw its, in inverted commas, silly objection to our media accreditation. So, look, Friday's D-Day.
Can we confirm they've got the email?
Yes, we can, because obviously if Howie was asked about it and he knew about it, it was sent to the club's owner, and then kind of everybody else was CC'd in. So it went to about 6 different email accounts, so there's no way they haven't seen it. We know they've seen it.
So E-Buckley, Howie and Dusher, and anyone else?
Anthony got it as well. We sent it to Anthony and we sent it to info.
How many days has it been? 4 now?
Well, look, we said a week, which would be, we sent it on Friday, so next Friday would be the day. But look, they're not responding. I'm 150% certain they will never respond.
That's because they're too scared to lose to us.
It's because they're...
So, look, that's where we are. It was said, we'll promote the event if it's going ahead. And obviously, there'll be money going to charity straight off the bat. So, it's in the club's hands.
You think respectfully we get a reply anyway, hopefully, you know?
They don't respect
Who's their club's charity partner?
It's the Crane Centre, isn't it, where they make the podcast? That's what I'm presuming anyway. No, if the club said to us, we prefer you to give it to somebody else, or just even, then we would.
I never knew that's where they did the podcast. Huh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of clucking on TikTok lives from Friday onwards.
And
that was.
Will I play it again?
Chicken talk.
You
have to. Has to be.
Okay.
Now this is chicken talk. This is what they say when the chickens they do laugh.
Good Christ, our academy absolutely destroyed teams over the weekend. 22 goals over the course of 4 games. Under 20s beat the Finger Lickers 6-0. Jesus Christ. Harvey Dara, Uma, Matt Murray by 2. Under 17s also beats CK United 6-0. Jaden O'Donovan with 4. Ogbenj and Pilo with the others. Under 15s beat the Ramblers 4-0, and under 14s beat the Ramblers 6-2. Wayne, some weekend for the academy there.
Yeah, it's been very good, isn't it? I actually missed one of the scorers. I think you only called out 4 scorers and 1/5. So there was a 6 score for the 20s. But yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Like,
Mad.
full house, 22 goals, 2 conceded. That's good.
We need him coming down the line 10 years time badly.
Well, it's the same names crop up every week. Like, it's Harvey Skeeters, it's Manuma, under 17s, it's Jaden O'Donovan, O'Benj. They're the same names every time, and these are the players who come through. We've heard about Uma all the way up. We've heard about all the lads like Carl O'Sullivan. So, fingers crossed.
Do you think it's going to be long before we see Skeeters make senior appearance?
I think so. Like, he's what? He's probably 18, is he now at this stage? 17, 18? Probably deserves to be on the bench anyway. You know?
He'll probably get his opportunity at some
I'd say
point this season.
When Jade Numa kind of eventually goes, which we all think it'll be this summer, don't we? Maybe then it's his time.
Dickie, you convinced Uma's going this summer?
The longer we go without hearing that he signed a contract, then yeah, the more it would lend itself to him going. But as I've always said, if he does, very, very best of luck to him.
Brilliant stuff. We're going to move on to Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the other Three Amigos podcast.
The club selling tickets to the Longford game, knowing it was being switched. Bad form, Wayne Mullins.
I see. It's always the bad news at the start of the pod, isn't it? We should really reverse it. I think it's terrible. I think it's shocking. I think it's embarrassing, and I think it's so out of touch with reality.
Dickie, you want to come in there?
Yeah, I just think they'll probably blame the ticket partner. I checked at about 6:30, and there was no tickets available at that stage for the Longford game. So, or there was none on sale, I should say, on the website. So, I presume they will say that until such time it was officially announced as changed or whatever, that there was nothing their ticket partner could do about it. That's a guess. Like, obviously,
bullshit.
I don't know that. But that's what I think they'll say.
If that's their excuse, it's even more embarrassing. I'm sorry, no, like, you knew the game wasn't going ahead. Wait till Tuesday to put them up. If the game was being played in Cork, if you bought that ticket, what are they going to say? Here's a refund. You can take 7 days to get back to your credit card, or that ticket will be valid for, like, not everyone has a massive bank account. Like, do you know, tickets? Some people actually, you know, are working week by week. I know it's only 15 quid. It's fair enough, but to you, to someone else, it might be a lot. So I think it's bad form. And again, if the club want to come on here and explain it to me, they can, but they won't. So the way I see it is, if you know the match isn't going ahead, even if it's not official, don't put the ticket prices up there. Don't sell tickets. Have a bit of cop on.
Dickie, is it bullshit in your eyes?
Oh yeah, look, I mean, obviously I wouldn't be a fan. Like, there's no getting away from that. I don't understand why they were on sale. Like, the other side of me then says, well, who would have actually bought tickets? Unless it was, you know, maybe people who would have been in Cork for the weekend, they didn't realise the situation and whatnot, you know. But yeah, look, Wayne is fundamentally correct. They shouldn't have been on sale. We've known for a while, like, that, you know, the games were more likely going to be changed. Obviously, there was something up with the Longford game, I think it's fair to say at this stage. Have no idea what, but, like, I mean, what time was it today? I think it was 3:00 today, Monday, that the thing was officially announced, which is late. I mean, the game was scheduled for Friday night, so obviously now it's switched to Saturday night in Longford. We knew last Wednesday evening that the Finn Harps game was being changed. We tweeted it on Thursday lunchtime. I can't remember now exactly what time that tweet went out. And we said it would be a 6:00 kickoff, and all that has been confirmed. So once again, Toe Tap had the news of the Finn Harps game out there on Thursday morning. The club then put it out on Monday at 3:00. Like, that's 4 days later. We all knew, as I said, on Wednesday evening, that the Finn Harps game was gone and was going to be changed. That then makes me think that there was an issue with the Longford game. As I said, I have no idea what that issue was, but it's the only thing really that kind of makes sense, Scott, doesn't it? And we touched on it on Friday night on the Patreon as well. Like, that, it was pretty obvious there was something up with the Longford game. And all I did was I did ask Ray Armitage why it was taking so long for the announcement to come through and whatnot. And to be fair, he only came back to me after it was announced today at 3:00, and he just said, "Look, it's done now. But as far as I'm aware, there was an awful lot going on, and he didn't go beyond
Longford.
that, and I didn't ask.
Longford at it.
Well, to be fair,
Don't know. Can't say that for definite. Like,
the manager resigned. They were waiting for the new person in charge for the game to decide what they wanted to do. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that as well, to be fair.
Just don't sell tickets, like.
Yeah, I mean, when's the one in June? Sorry, the one in June has been changed. It's gone from Saturday 8th of June in Bishopsgate to now Friday the 7th of June in Turner's Cross. How do the club learn from this in future, Wayne Mullins? What would you do differently in future? Just tell the fans straight away that we don't know what's going on.
No, because they might not be able to say anything because they don't know officially. Just tell the ticket company, hold tight the tickets there, lads, a couple of days. And if someone comes in asking, where are the tickets? Just do what you're good at. Ignore them. It's simple, really, like. Now, if they need me on a podcast to explain this to them, we're in deep shit, like. Again, feel free. You can get in touch with me. DMs are open. Anyone in the club wants to get in touch or come on the pod, explain this to me, I'm all ears. Like, come on next week saying, do you know what? I found out the reason why. It all makes sense. And I will. I'll be fair. Just because you think I'm being harsh doesn't mean I'm not being fair. Okay?
Decky, were you going to say something, or was it just an intake of breath? Shitting yourself?
No,
what Wayne was going to say next week?
No, not at all. Not at all. There's no shitting ourselves about what we're saying anymore. Doesn't matter. But no, it was just an intake of breath. I had nothing further to add at this particular moment in time.
Okay. Were we in the Marina Market this weekend? Does anyone have info for us?
Looks like we weren't. Just going by social media, because they used to always post, and it was every weekend that we were away from home that we would be in there, and they had said they were going in there for 4 weeks and testing it out and trying it out. So I can't say for definite that we weren't in there, but there doesn't appear to have been anything on our social media channels that indicate we were in there. So if we weren't in there, then I presume they got to the end of their trial period and decided that it wasn't beneficial to the club.
To be fair, Forrest, at the Forrest meeting, I believe Dermot Usher had a spiel on the situation, and it actually read quite well, in my opinion. Not sure if we can read it out, but if he'd spoken like that to the supporters, maybe people would have kind of not lost their shit completely. I thought it was, well said.
Are you allowed to give us the crux, the gist? It's
just a shame. Something pro I'm saying I can't say because it's part of Forest. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that, if this was said publicly, not publicly, but just, publicly, maybe then people have gone, okay, do you know what? Fair enough. You haven't dealt with a certain person. This is the reason why we get it. At least rather than radio silence kind of going, this guy doesn't give a shit kind of thing. That's the mentality everyone had. So sometimes it's good to talk, sometimes it's good to keep shut. Again, I presume we're learning that as we go on.
Dickie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I felt the complete opposite when I saw it, but I'm not a Forest member, so I shouldn't have seen it in the first place.
We just read it out.
These things get leaked. By all means, yeah. I don't have it to hand, but
no, someone sent me a screen. I haven't even seen it because my emails aren't working, as you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's causing us some issues.
It is. Am I allowed to read it out? I can't, because remember, you can read it out. I can't.
I don't have
one of you can read it out.
I don't have it to hand. I don't have it to hand.
That's a shame.
But look, basically what he said was that he had no interactions with Tommy Nobobs. He's never spoken to Tommy Nobobs. He's never met Tommy Nobobs. The Marina Market is potentially a very good spot for the club to be in, and they were going to give it 4 weeks and then see how they got on and make a decision. I just felt like that was a man who was just saying, I'm not budging on my thought process, and it's going to be a purely business decision with no input given towards how fans...
Are you fucking shocked about this?
No, not in the slightest.
All right, I just thought you were like, oh my God, obviously.
No, but it's just like, it sounded to me like he just wasn't willing to take on board any fans' feelings, Forrest's feelings, in terms of feelings. And look, to be fair, we have called for years for things to be, as you've always said, waiting to be run like a business. So, look, I mean, I'm just going to give out about everything non-stop forevermore.
So on the point of Marina Market, if you're going to do it, at least do it right. Do you know what I mean? At least if you're going to do it properly and don't look like a second-hand shop.
Mogadishu
A
Flea Market.
Sorry, yes. But it's true. Like, at least do it right, for Christ almighty.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about a bit of football now before we get ourselves in trouble. Go on, Decky. You were going to end it there.
No, I was just going to say, like you, Dan. It appears as if it may well be done and dusted now, anyway. So we can all move on. But as I always say, never forget.
We're never moving on. Season game review. UCD 0, Cork City 0. Surely one of the most boring games of all time. Dicky. Oh.
Boring is the correct word, yeah. I mean, it's just insipid. Like, it's just like, I don't know what to say. It's just beyond boring to watch. It's effective and it is getting results. And look, we've played 5 away games. We've won 1 of them and drawn 4 of them. It's effective to a degree, but I'll always argue that in this division, we should be winning 90% of the games. To be fair to Tim Clancy, he seemed frustrated afterwards, going by what I read. Maybe the performance wasn't up to his standards either, but I just felt it was just boring is the correct word, Dan. And I don't want to, like I came on last week after the Cove game and said how I was looking forward to the rest of the season and how that Cove game had set a benchmark in terms of tempo and performance. And in fairness to Wayne, he came after me and said, Cove stood off us. They left us have a lot of the ball. Maybe it wasn't quite as good as it's been made out to be, and I think there was a lot of that on Friday night. It was just like, it's just boring. You're right, Dan. And I'm losing the will to live watching the away games, to be honest with you, because it's just fundamentally boring. I don't know what else to say.
Wayne, how are you fundamentally feeling about the draw?
Defensive masterclass, really, from both sides, wasn't it? You could look at it that way too. I'm a bit weird. I much prefer I much prefer a 0-0 draw than a 4-4 draw. I'm just very strange that way.
So you take the one against UCD than the 4-4 in Tala last year.
Look where we are now. 4-4 draw. Look at us. That worked out. I know
that was a good point against Premier Division champions.
From a supporter point of view, yeah, you want a 4-4, but from a logical planning, you can always score goals. Defensive is a lot harder to. I just find it. I'd rather a 0-0 than a 4-4. When it comes to...
Are we just defensively solid because everyone else is so shit?
No, I just think we just don't have the key passes, the through balls. We don't have the knowledge, the know-how, how to get players running in the right positions and getting the shots on goal. We just don't have it. We've Jack Doherty, and is he being used right? I don't think so. I don't know. It is very boring for the supporters, and it's the same in Wexford. It's the same. Finn Harps, we scored, I suppose. It's just shit, isn't it? From a fan perspective, I think from Tim Clancy's mindset, he's going 0-0 draw from home. Great point. I can see that. I can 100% see it. From a fan's view, it is shit, as Decky says. You lose the will to live. But again, I would prefer 0-0 and 4-4. I'd hate to have been 3-1 up, 3-3, 4-3 to them, 4-all to us. 0-0, it's fine. Get down the road again, point.
Dicky, you buying those sentiments?
I know. I do understand what Wayne is talking about. You can have great 0-0s where there's really, really top class defending. That's the reason the game is 0-0. I don't buy into the idea that the reason the game on Friday night was 0-0 was because there was top world class defending. I mean, UCD didn't have a shot on goal or a shot on target. No, maybe that's because Charlie Lyons and Cian Coleman are out blocking shots, and we're stopping them getting crosses in the box and all that kind of stuff. But I don't worry about us in any way, shape, or form defensively in this division. The numbers are there. We've only conceded twice. We all know that. We all know we're very, very good defensively in this division. For me, it's all about going the other way. And I mean, again, we had 2 shots on target in the game. One from outside the box, which would have been a worldie from Barry Coffey. The other one is Jaden, and late on in the game, having come on as a sub, cutting in on his right. On another day, that ball flies into the top corner. This time it doesn't. It goes straight at the keeper. But effectively, like we're not creating opportunities. We're not creating genuine goal scoring opportunities, and I think we kind of settled for a 0-0 late on, which is fine. Look, as I said, away from home, you take a point a lot of the time, but it's just like I just expect.
I don't know. Did we?
More?
I just felt like we struggled to get past UCD.
There's no jeopardy. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think Wayne's right.
Like
they were just, they might have been trying, but there wasn't something there lighting a fire under their ass to get them to do something.
Yeah, which is a worry.
Yeah, like I don't think we ever go out to play for a draw, and I don't think we set out to get draws, but I do think like he took Jack Doherty off after what was it, 63 or 64 minutes or something like that. In a game that you're 0-0 away from home, Jack is probably the only one who can pull something out of nothing and create a chance, or do something magical that sticks. And it mightn't have been his best game. He mightn't have, but like personally, I'm just never taking him off at 0-0 when he is the one who can do something, pull something from the unknown and do something. When you take him off at 0-0, I do feel you're kind of settling for a point to a degree. Now I know Sean Murray needs minutes, and I know he's coming back from injury, and I read Tim Clancy say when he came on he thought Murray got in the box and had a couple of opportunities. I'm not so sure about that, to be honest with you. And I think there's decisions coming in the next couple of weeks for Tim to make, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go a certain way, to be honest with you.
What way?
Well, what I'm talking about is you have Greg Bulger, who's never not going to play. Tim has a lot of time for Barry Coffey. He now has Sean Murray back, and he has Jack Doherty, and he only has 3 spots for that 4. As I said, he's never leaving out Greg Bulger. I don't think he'll leave out Barry Coffey because I think he really likes Coffey. And that leaves you with a Murray Doherty situation, and I think there'll be a time in the next couple of weeks when we have all these away games where you'll see a fit Jack Doherty start the game on the bench. I just get that feeling. I just have that feeling that, and probably Finn Harps away more so than Longford away, that you may well see him start with Coffey, Bulger, Sean Murray in the 3 and leave Jack.
Do you reckon there's tensions growing between himself and Tim? He's been a frustrated figure at times.
He has been frustrated. No, I don't. I'd have no reason to think anything like that. And this is just a gut feeling kind of thing again. Like, but as I said, you don't take Jack Doherty off 64 minutes into a 0-0 game. I don't anyway, personally. But then again, I'm not manager of Cork City, and there's a reason for that. Like, so as I said, I can just see it being a scenario that develops in the next couple of weeks. And look, again, I could be completely wrong, and I'm not calling anybody out. If Tim Clancy does start the game without Jack Doherty, he's quite entitled to do so if that's what he wants to do and that's how he sees things. So not even calling that out. I'm just putting it out there as a hypothetical situation that I could see happening in the next couple of weeks.
Do you think Jack has been used right? I mean, look, we've been limiting here in this podcast for the last while now about Jack Doherty not being used in his natural position.
Well, like he played the 10 the other night against UCD, and to be fair, he didn't have a huge amount of influence on the game. As you said, he caught a very frustrated figure again. I just don't think offensively we do a huge amount. Eileen actually was supposed to take training, and she was going to solve. Remember, she was going to Bishopstown, Dan, to solve all those offensive things with her license. So she's another one now who's dropped or set aside because it certainly didn't work, But like, I'm so sure it's not used properly. I just don't think offensively we're all that good as a unit. And like, I can see a situation whereby if we're training for an hour, we're doing 50 minutes on the defensive shape And when we don't have the ball and we finish up the last 10 minutes with the ball and offensively, you know, no, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying that's the way it looks on the pitch. We're so good without the ball. We are fantastic. And Tim spoke about this in pre-season. We played better teams and we concentrated on when we didn't have the ball and when we didn't have the ball and when we didn't have the ball. And that his teams have always scored goals and those goals would come. That hasn't happened, but we are exceptional without the football. We're exceptional defensively, but we need an awful lot of work going the other way.
Wayne, I know you're friends with Tim Clancy, obviously, but do you think he's using Jack Doherty in the correct way? He's our marquee signing.
I don't think this is Jack Doherty's fault. I think it's the players around him are kind of letting him down. Jack is Jack. He started off on fire for the season. He scored 5 goals, is it? Proof is there. He's top scorer. He should be seeing the full 90, at least 80, because he's the one player who can unlock the defence.
Yeah.
Take him off.
Who else there is doing it?
Exactly. Like, who else is doing it? I know Sean Murray needs minutes. But you give a player minutes when you're 1 up or 2 up. You make another substitution, take Doherty off, drop back into a midfield 3. So I don't understand it, no. Jack Doherty should be number 1 player on the team sheet as far as I'm concerned. Unless he's playing poor, but he's not. I don't think he's getting fed the right ball. I don't think they're playing the right system. That's on Clancy. Tim, I should say.
Well, what is that? What is that right system then?
The right system is like
4-4-2. Get the ball in the box.
No, well, yes, of course, but in this situation, you got to feed Doherty, but you got to have runners off him. Like, you can't expect him to get the ball and just create it himself and hope there's a players in the right positions. Like, you got to work. You got to spend the time on the training ground and build a team around him. He's a fulcrum, and when he's turning left, you've got a player running right and feeding him, and he can feed him back. He should be like a Jan Molby in the 10 spot, where he doesn't need to be doing all his running. He's got the skill, the vision, and the passing to do this and make the odd run. But he's not. Sure, we've tried him in left wing, up front, number 9, number 10. Sure, that proves we're not playing him right. Does he know where to play him? That's his job.
Is there a world where Tim Clancy's just not that hot in him?
I think that's what the situation. Like, Decky's kind of dancing around it. I don't think he fancies him.
Decky, care to respond?
Like, it's hard to argue. Like, it's not this. Like, how would you put it? Like, it's not that I don't think he fancies him. It's like, I think the Jack Doherty deal was done before Tim Clancy came to the club, so he's not actually necessarily Tim's signing. Now, this is mad. I don't know how this conversation has come up, and we've done it because Jack Doherty's the top scorer in the league. You know, so like that's what we're talking about. Like, and Tim has played him plenty of minutes. He didn't play in Wexford when he was injured. As I said, I can just see with everybody fit. And Barry Coffey, for me, has played very well the last 4 or 5 games. I don't think Tim leaves Barry Coffey out. I don't think he ever leaves Greg Bolger out. So then it becomes a Murray or Doherty situation, unless he moves Jack to the left wing or puts him back in the 9 again or something. But we've seen the 9 didn't work. But like, Scotty's talking about systems and players and everything else. Like, but we never have runners getting beyond the front man. We never overload the box. There's lots of things we don't do offensively, and Jack Doherty's an absolutely cracking player, but I think Scotty's right. You need to put players around him as well, and we can't say it's ability wise, because look, that Cove team last year, it's like, I mean, you know, it's like he had Wilson Waweru up around, who was his 9, and I think that helped him a lot in that Waweru was winning balls and he was linking play and he was holding the ball up, and we don't really have the ability to do any of that at the moment, to be fair. We'll just dominate the ball so much in midfield that it's almost like just our continual... We just end up with having so much of the ball that eventually we just wear sides down and we win 1-0, 2-0 sometimes, you know. But I think, yeah, we need to look at doing more offensively. But I'm saying that since pre-season and it's not happening. So, look.
Like, if you look at Tim Clancy and Jamie Hamill, right? Between them, they played 200 games for Kilmarnock. Like, Tim Clancy alone has 100 games in the SPL, over 100 games. Jamie Hamill has probably over 250 games. Tim Clancy's a defender. Jamie Hamill's a right back / midfielder. So they're two defensive-minded coaches. Because they have 20-year career each, and that's what they've been brought up as, defensive-minded. So maybe is there someone we needed, an attacking coach, John O'Flynn, someone like that to be there to kind of pull the strings up front, help out? Maybe we just need someone attack-minded who can take over the front third of the pitch and just kind of try something new. That's just an idea. I've always thought a defensive-minded player is always going to be a defensive-minded coach, in my opinion. There is exceptions, but like Klopp, for example, maybe. But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Do you think that defensive-minded players make defensive-minded coaches, and that we do need to bring someone in?
Fundamentally, I think they do, yeah. But I mean, look, John Caulfield's our top goal scorer of all time. And he's one of the most defensive-minded coaches you could ever come across, you know? So,
that's true.
Look, it is horses for courses as well. But, like, yes, of course. If, like, Scotty's talking about, I'm like Scotty, I love a 0-0. When I played to an absolutely atrocious standard, I played as a centre-back and I played as a defensive midfielder, and I always had that defensive mindset. I love making tackles. I love doing all that stuff. Like, so if I was to ever coach, yeah, I'd have it set up defensively well before I even thought about crossing the halfway line and doing things offensively. Like, so yes, it does become a mindset. And look, this is a new Tim Clancy's teams. Although Tim says about scoring a lot of goals, they were always set up very well defensively. That was always the cornerstone on which everything else was built. So this isn't a surprise in any way, to be honest, you know. And here's the thing, the great irony in this is, if this was next season, it's perfection. It's the perfect way that we would want to play next season, away from home in the Premier Division to anybody. It's exactly what we would be looking to do. It's just because it's this year, it's this division, we all have notions about how easy this division should be to win and to have fun and score goals, and because we all know what's coming next year. Next year is a different story again. It's a hard grind. It's a tough doom to try and keep ourselves in the league. And this is the exact setup that we would be looking for next year. So, like, it's amazing that something we're probably criticizing Tim for now is the exact thing that we would be singing from the rooftops about next year. It's just, it is this year, and then there's next year, you know? And maybe we're the ones who need to change our mindset, to be fair. Maybe the fan base are the ones who need to change their mindset, but, you know, I'll never accept that either.
In terms of chances, you mentioned the coffee one. The penalties were a big conversation, or they won't they?
I didn't think they were, to be honest, but I did see people on the forum saying stonewallers, and they were there with ex-referees who thought they were stonewallers. Maybe it's just the view from the stream, which isn't great.
I didn't think they were penalties either, to be honest.
Right, okay.
No, one of the City fans did call the ref a langer going in at half time. I won't mention
Ray
who.
Matthews.
And Tim and the UCD manager were getting fairly tasty going up the stairs there in UCD, but like arguing about God knows what. That UCD manager was giving lip all night.
Fair play to Tim, like he's been able to stick up for the club and himself. He is, so fair play to him. I like that.
Absolutely. I mean, he did so in the Cove game the previous week, as we know, at half time and the rest of it. And you're right, Dan, you could hear it clearly on the stream where the things are saying like that. The UCD manager, as you said, was just all night, like just going all night. And then the following day, if you were watching the women's game, you had Danny Murphy. He was going for a full 90 minutes as well. Like, so, yeah. But look, no, as you said, fair play to Tim. He doesn't take a backward step. Didn't take a backward step from the shenanigans at halftime in the Cove game, by all accounts. And as Scotty says, fair play to him. We need people who stick up for the club and stick up for the players.
Just
and
smile every so often. You know? Be good. Just the odd smile.
What was the UCD commentator situation like? There was a lot of talk about that. I have heard him previously. I didn't hear the commentary from last Friday, though.
But it's UCD away. You know what you're going to get. It's the same two lads the whole time. The co-commentator, Declan's his name. Like, you know, he's just on about land grabbing and, you know, he could talk about anything. It could be you don't know what's going to come. Like, generally, it's not very much related to the game or what's going on in the pitch, to be honest. Like, you know, but I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy, like, the LOI commentary is very unique, and I think it does give I don't know what's the word. It just makes the game somewhat different to what you normally get. And you go to places like UCD. Okay, it's more polished in the Premier Division. Rory and Phil are more polished than what we had the other night. I mean, they couldn't get the microphones working. Then when they got them working, they weren't working correctly, and the levels were up and down, and they were blaming the rugby lads who last used it and saying that they April Fools them by changing all the settings before they left and everything else. Like, so you kind of had no idea really of what was going on there,
it's
you
like
know.
toe tapper under that.
And then he was calling out to his buddies, you know, lads, one of you text me there and tell me whether we're still too loud or we're still too, you know, or whatnot. Like, you know, so it was, but as I said, I enjoy all that stuff because it's very unique. It's very League of Ireland First Division, you know, and look, and, you know, what was going on in the pitch, this was nearly more entertaining than what we were watching during the game, you know, so.
Tonight's MVP shouts. I think it was our closest ever MVP, lads. Everyone was on in the 20s there.
Yeah, I don't remember one as close anyway.
Do ye agree? Bulger in first. Who's in second? Coffey in second. McLaughlin third. And Coleman fourth.
Yeah, I think I agreed. Yeah, no, I thought Greg was the best on show or best in show, all right, as they say in the Crufts. Why? Oh man. I didn't. Okay, look, I didn't mean to compare. I didn't mean to compare Greg to Crufts or a dog or anything like this.
You say he's scruffy with the beard.
No, I'm not saying anything. There was just a phrase entered my head and I used it without thinking. So please, can we just move on and park it, right?
He is fundamentally Crufts.
Well, look, what it does do is that, like we had said, Scotty, earlier on, that it was going to be a 2-horse race, and you know, it's no longer a 2-horse race because Cahill is a point ahead of Jack Doherty, who in turn is 2 points ahead of Greg Bulger. So it's very much a 3-way go now.
It'll be one of those three
in the overall standings.
It'll be two. It'll be two actually. I think it'll be Cahill and Bulger. In fact, no, Bulger's going to win it.
It's a bold shout, Wayne.
Yeah,
big shout.
Because Cahill will, I'd say, later in the season be rested more, and I think Doherty will be dropped.
Ooh, you heard it here first. Instead of our 2-word answer, we asked you to describe.
This is good.
That game using a movie title. So, who was it who gave us this idea last week? I can't even remember now. Or was it in the Twitter
You're
DMs?
not allowed to say it came in.
It
came in and DM and he wanted to remain anonymous.
Boring Cian Coleman says Driving Miss Daisy. Duncan Noonan says 9. Fionn C says The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Pat Connolly says Rebel Without a Cause. Wayne says Intimidation Games. There's a poster there. Tala, Oriel Park, and now UCD Ball.
I let out Markets Field by mistake.
What are you trying to imply there?
You're not going to catch me in this one. People who know.
CCFC Translated says keep it fair now. The greatest game ever played. Damien Treenan says shooting blanks. Boring Cian Coleman says 28 weeks later. Boring Cian Coleman says while you were sleeping. Fiona C says sleepers. Trevor Carey says the fall of the House of Usher. Boring Cian Coleman says To Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Liam Buckley. Billy Dorney says quicksand. Boring Cian Coleman says the Hurt Locker. Boring Cian Coleman, you can have one from now on, alright? Lee Side Boy says hostel. Tony Tobin says the field. Sean says F me, that was painful, and it was a little poster of Lost in Translation. Sean also says a nightmare in the UCD Bowl. Philly Crowley says super bad. Jack Kelleher says Sleeping Beauty. Topper says Minority Report. Brackets could see this crime of a performance coming, so watch the golf. Dave Nagel says terror at Bloodfart Lake. Brian Fitz says Gross Point Blank. Sean says Fubar, Gareth Dodoni Moaner, Barry says Parky's Revenge, Darar says has to be Dr. Doolittle, Tony says Bad Boys, Jamie says Fate of the Furious, UCD Fan says Staying Alive, Roy O'Sullivan says Max Payne, Ian Crowley says Misery, Betting Bros NC says Naked Gun, The Final Insult, Thomas says Groundhog Day, Tony Daly says Groundhog Day, Edwin Hannon says Ghostbusters, Probably Fergus says Doom, Damien Mullins says The Fundamentals of Caring, Joel Wamsley says The Big Sleep. Show additional replies, including those that may contain offensive content. Do we want to see these? Yes, we do. Monsters Ball. Beer Bellied Hoofer says The Dead. And that concludes our movie titles. Decky,
Groundhog Day wins.
Do you have a particular favourite for that?
I like Dr. Doolittle, to be fair, because there was a lot of Doolittle on the pitch, so I probably shouldn't have had to explain that. I didn't need to explain it, but look, I just can't help myself.
Wayne, Groundhog Day for you, hands down.
Yeah. I'm not sure I really need to explain that one.
What are we going for next week? A song, maybe?
Yeah, a song would be good.
So you can get thinking now, lads, because it's probably going to be boring again in Longford. That concludes the first half. Toe Tapper. Come back to us in the second half. We will have You Say It Best, our Longford away preview, Panenka Patrol, and Cove Watch.
Hey, Toe Tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For $5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied, and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/ToeTap to support the cause.
Welcome back to part 2, Toe Tapper, where we have a very... We're leaving that in. Where we have a very, very special announcement. The NordVPN ad is back. Toe Tap. We've got so many listeners and we're so great. And obviously they want to pay Wayne and Decky loads of money. So Wayne, how did you take this news?
Yeah, they're back. They're back for a fourth stint. Is it third or fourth? It's either way. We're obviously massive these days. So our good friends in the States came back to us and they want us promoting the Fine VPN product, which I personally own. I paid for one myself. I use it for safe internet browsing. I know Dickie uses it for his porn. And the more you buy, the more money we get. So crack on, lads.
Dickie, you're just money hungry again.
Well, yeah, and can I just clarify
something?
What Wayne said there, he said the more you buy, the more we get. That's not true. They're just paying us a flat fee
it's just,
for the campaign, you know. So
you can fucking nothing and we don't give a shit.
Yeah, we're making
they might come back again.
It doesn't matter, like, you know.
They might come back again.
Yeah.
Just log on to the link, stay there for 30 seconds, click around, and you know what? We love you forever. Buy, don't buy, we couldn't give a shit.
Thing is, like, all this is started next week. In case you get the impression it's this week, it's not. It'll be starting from next week's podcast on. So, look, it is what it is.
But generally, it is quite good because there's certain websites you can go on. Like if you wanted to get like Formula 1 TV, it works. Other sites, plenty of them out there.
We'll drive it on into You Say It Best.
You say it best when you leave a voice note.
It just puts a smile on your face, doesn't it?
Every time. Can I also just say here now, Dan, we know what's coming here, right? These are voicemails left by toe tappers, by fans of the club, whatever, like, you know.
Unprompted.
No, we just play them. Nothing to do with us whatsoever.
That NordVPN money is going towards paying someone to send these in.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, are we gonna play him?
Yeah, we have to, because here it's the best part of the pod. It really is.
Yeah, so first things first, I actually don't get paid for anything that I do in the club. So anything that goes wrong, yeah, you know what I mean, man? I cannot get blamed for this. But like, as long as we stay in budget, you know, I can't get blamed because I don't get paid. So like, it's not my fault really. Do you know what I mean? Even though we were shit last year. Like, but we kept the players in budget. Like, I mean, we had all a load of players that were shit, but we got them all in budget, and I wasn't getting paid, so I can't get blamed for anything that went wrong. I just want to clear that up before we go anywhere, alright? But yeah, just back to the fact that me and Ronaldo were the longest gap we ever served between Premier League appearances. So can I just make it me and Ronaldo sorry, I don't think it should be cursing, sorry, but fucking crazy, me and Ronaldo, yeah. But it was a mad one. And I went to Waterford then. I didn't even have to train. Sorry, I don't know if I should be saying that. I didn't even have to train. I was that good. But yeah, that back pass I got there, geez, yeah, the bad bobble on it. But we blame the pitch. And I'd like to sign off there. If anyone tells me to say anything, I'd walk straight out the door, unless it's Tom Rusher, and reminded me that me and Ronaldo had the same gap in the Premier League. Thanks, lads. Yeah, fucking Damien Delaney here. Just reporting live from a game against Crystal Palace in 2001, where I made my debut. Yeah. Play against, do you know, Ronaldo is the only other player to have played as long as me outside of the Premier League, do you know. But yeah, just as long as we stay in budget this year, we should be getting up. Yeah, but Dermot's doing a great job.
Yeah, I did. I went to Waterford for a year, and you know all those. Oh shit! Sorry, am I allowed to say on the official Cork City podcast? Either way, sure, I'm a director anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, I just speak to Dermot in the morning. We'll just bleep it out or something. But anyway, here we are now in Drumcondra. Shells and Bows are across the road. Sure, I'm just doing some scouting there. We might be able to bring Paddy Barrett in on a free transfer next year or something.
Well, lads, I was on Howie's TikTok live the other night, and I asked him, I said, are the club going to accept the other three amigos call out for a foot golf match? And Howie's words were, well, I'm ready. He said, I'm ready. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm ready. So, listen, we've Howie on side anyway, and he's the main man, really. So, we have them infiltrated from the inside now. So we just need the club to officially accept the call out, and we're good to go. Also, regarding the drill then, Wayne said last week, he said, let's back it and get the song released. So I say, let's do it. Let's get in the studio, get the song out there, and it'll blow up. Also, if the club decide not to accept the foot golf match, then we all know that they're just...
That's the worst chicken impression I ever heard. My good God.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Do you know what? If we could get him in studio, not to record the drill rap, but just to record a live version of that chicken impression, and we just use that forevermore, you know. Oh my word.
Lads, it's mad Damien Delaney sending us in voice notes now.
Oh, when I first heard it, I couldn't figure out who he's talking about. I was like, is that an ex-player from last year? I couldn't figure out who was trying to beat. Like, and he said to Waterford, I was like, oh my God.
No, it was when he said the yeah man, I knew who it was.
Yeah, and like, obviously you can hear all his buddies behind him laughing, and then it sounds like two more of the buddies decided they'd have a go as well, and this is where we end up. And as I said, we're just playing what we're sent in. There's nothing malicious in it, I don't think. There's no reason not to play it. But it's funny. Like, the first time I heard it, I thought I'd die laughing. Like, you know, I've heard it about 25 times now since. So I keep listening. But
so how he accepted? So did he personally? So he's ready.
Well, he said he's up for it. Like, he's up for it.
I'm not three more people now.
Not sure that's a club acceptance, but yeah.
We are going to absolutely wipe the floor of them.
We all know what happens if they don't accept anyway.
Shreed's new job, he got a massive new house now. He's built a foot golf course in his back garden. We're there every bloody second night practicing. You know?
Yeah, and obviously we're being instructed by the Irish International and official rules official as well. Like, so we know the ins and outs of the rules and what the likely rulings would be and everything else, you know.
The 18th hole, we're level. We have one chance to win it. And Dan does a panenka into the fucking hole. That's how we win it, like.
Yeah.
I think we should go to the K Club to start practicing. Good course there, like.
It'd be kind of sad if it didn't go ahead, wouldn't it? We should show up anyway. And just line up on the tee and see what happens. We record it live on TikTok, stream it live. If they show up, they don't show up. We go anyway. We just show up and that's it. And if we win, we win. With or without them.
Would they accept a entry from us, do you think? Forget the challenge. If the challenge wasn't happening, we just said we want to put a toe tap team into the foot golf, pay the fee, you know, support the club. Do you think they'd accept the...
Of course they would.
Entry.
I think they'd have to.
They'd have to.
Interesting one.
Be very interesting. Very interesting if they didn't. If they did, it means they're just chicken.
Yeah. That'd be me if I was Damien Delaney.
Dan's like a chicken with a horn here or something. Jesus Christ.
Look, it's still better than your man's, I would say, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Without fail.
We are playing Longford away, but we're playing Longford away.
We're not. We're home. I have a ticket.
We're playing Longford away this Saturday, 7:30, if I remember correctly. How boring on a scale of 1 to 10, Wayne Mullins, do you think this game is going to be?
I think they might get a new manager bounce. You never know. They could beat us if we're not careful. If we don't go out and try and win the game. You know? I can see it happening.
Dickie, is there any universe where that happens, that Longford even score against us?
No, I don't think so. Their numbers are terrible. Like, I was looking at them before we came online, like, and they're just horrific. Like, no, Scotty's right, new manager Pounce, but they play away in Wexford tomorrow night. So
you can see him coming in a little leotard.
I'm lost. I don't know what you're on about.
It was a funny line.
Okay, fair enough. I missed it. So yeah, look, they're away in Wexford tomorrow night. If they had to come to Cork on Friday night, it would have been really interesting. But the new manager Pounce, look, I don't know. They're playing Tuesday night. They can't train Wednesday night. Then obviously, or they can't do much. And then you're into Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure there's a new manager is going to have a huge amount of time to work with them. Like, who is the new manager? They announced that Gavin Pearce and another coach were taking them on in the interim period. And then about 4 hours later, they announced that Gavin Pearce had also resigned. So it looked like they announced him without checking with him as the interim boss. And then he went, "Oh, lads, no, that's not happening at all. I'm out of here." Like, so it just looks kind of chaotic around the place. Look, we know they have a couple of good players. Shane Elworthy, Chris Lyons, they're decent players. But as I said, their numbers are just horrific. Like, really, really poor. And it's easy to see why they're bottom of the division. They have the lowest shots per game. They have the lowest shots on target per game. They have the second lowest possession. Their keeper makes the most saves per game. Their XG is 0.74 on average, which is horrific. Like, obviously worse than the division. They allow the most shots on target against them. They allow the most goals against them. As I said, their keeper makes the most save. It's lined up for... There really can't be any other result. They don't care about new managers or new manager bounces or anything else. Like, yes, we need to respect them. Yes, we need to be wary of the whole new manager situation. Yes, they beat Galway at home twice last year, so we know they're capable of creating an upset, but I just can't see any way at all that it's possible. And we've already won up there already this year, 2-0. There were 2 defensive errors, if I remember correctly. I'd be very, very disappointed if we don't win this game. Very.
Would you take over as Longford manager given an opportunity?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Manager Pounce.
Rawr.
I've no idea what you're referencing, I have to say. I missed it. I don't know.
I don't know. I just felt funny at the time.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like the whole parliament thing.
Okay, right. Parliament.
When you say bounce, you say pounce.
Oh, new manager Pounce, did I? Okay, sorry. My apologies. Yeah, look, what I know is the answer to your question, that I'm holding out for the Cork City gig, obviously, you know. And I don't want to do anything that would jeopardise that opportunity whenever it comes to that.
And it will. Wayne Mullins, yes. What do you think the score is going to be?
0-0.
You'd again, as Decky's mentioned, I think it was last week, you'd ate the head off us at the start of the year.
As I said, it's not acceptable. You ask me what's going to happen. What do I want to happen? What should happen? We should beat them 4 or 5-0. It's not going to happen.
Decky score prediction.
The question should be, are we going to watch it? Are people going to watch it? Because I know people aren't going to stop watching this shit. They are like... Saturday night. Who's going to turn this shit on Saturday night?
And then deck is over.
It is, but like seriously, 6 o'clock. What time is it on? 7:30 Saturday night?
7:30, yeah.
7:30,
It's going to be a tough gig to put that on the TV Saturday night. It really is. But we have to, because it's a fucking podcast.
What else are you going to be watching?
Paid, dry.
F1 TV with your brand new NordVPN available now.
No, I actually had to buy Sky Sports because of it, because I couldn't... the thumbnail on Formula 1 TV shows you nearly the result of the bloody race. So I had to buy Sky Sports instead. So I actually have Sky Sports now.
What a story.
Yeah.
Jackie, did I go to you for score prediction? I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what I say. Like, they might have a bit of a bounce. They've been poor, but look, I'd say Longford 2, City 4.
Oh, I forgot about this running joke. We're no closer to finding out what it is. Well, I'm not anyway. Wayne, any guesses?
It's a poor Jerry Desmond version. Do you know? It's like the Aldi version of Jerry Desmond is what he's trying to do here. 6-2.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. You're the Aldi version of Jerry Desmond. It's genuinely the nicest, because I tell you this much, the Aldi version of Jerry Desmond is still one of the best things you could ever be, lad. So I'm quite happy with that.
Are you going to give us any clues as to what this 4-2 thing might be at some
Dan,
stage?
There's nothing to it. Like, I said 4-2 for about 6 weeks before any of you copped on that I was repeating my prediction. So I just said I'd keep going, see how long I could keep going for before it was noticed. That's all it was.
Oh, it's kind of boring. Oh, that is a bit shit. But like, can you give us a proper prediction?
What's your
I think
prediction,
we'll win
Daniel?
2-0 again. I think we'll win 2-0 again.
1-0 City.
Jesus.
The glamour of playing Longford Town.
Good spot though. I do like Longford.
It has the most amount of, I think, prisoners in Mountjoy per head of population.
Really?
Apparently so.
Amazing.
Heard that on the radio once.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
Can someone let us know if Blazers is still open? I'd be very interested. It used to be a massive nightclub, and then every year he went up there, it got smaller and smaller, and they closed off areas. Is it still there? Can someone let us know?
Like Google it.
Blazers, yeah. They used to have fellas in the door who were in suits and stuff like Miami Vice. But now I'd say it's just it was
permanently closed, Wayne.
Oh no. When did it close?
Doesn't say.
Jesus.
Doesn't say.
Jesus, there's no point in going.
Remember being up there one Saturday night and the lads, I can't think of the band's name now, but their big hit was, Sally, who the f*** is Sally, It's not Sally, is it? It's not. Alice.
Smokey.
Alice.
Smokey.
Who the fuck is Sally?
Who the f*** is Sally?
What? Alice, who the fuck? Yeah. And they were playing in, I don't know, was it Blazers or was it the hotel? Or was Blazers the hotel or whatnot? Like, but the whole of Longford was going to this gig anyway this Saturday night. Yeah, we drew 1-1. Dan Murray scored. Late on to equalise. I have a feeling it was an OG. Don't know what year it was.
Did you score Blazers yourself?
No, the wife was
chips thing.
But she was. I remember throwing chips at Rory O'Hagan. I just
go on.
Randomly. No, just as I said. But anyway, I digress.
Drive it on to jacking off there because this is just getting out of hand altogether.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat. You left me. What else can I do? Cause my wet dreams just came true.
You're some singer, Dan, I must say.
Aren't I just?
Those husky tones.
Panenka Patrol, did Jack Doherty score Panenka this week for €250 for the much needed facilities in Marymount? No. She's going to hit jacking off again there.
Do you want me to do it again?
Yeah, that's the whole gag of it.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat. You left me and I've been here. What else can I do? Cause my wet dreams are just came true.
It's a bit of Queenstown watch. Mad game, lost 4-2 to Wexford, 3 down to 3-2 to 4-2. 4 goals in 4 minutes. Decky, is Gary Hunt under pressure or will he be given some leeway in the job?
No, he's not under pressure. Who is it you're asking that question, is it?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't. As the words of Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Right, okay. No, he's not under pressure, for Christ's sake. Their games are entertaining, though, lads. Generally speaking, their games are entertaining.
Could you see a Stephen Henderson return to Cove Ramblers?
No, not anytime soon, anyway. I wouldn't think. Lads, stop. The idea that Gary Hunt's under any kind of pressure is madness. Like, what were people expecting?
Longford lost their manager,
in my opinion. Yeah, but that's going back to last season as well. Like, to be fair to Hendo, it's not just this season.
He wasn't that bad last season, though.
They haven't won since they beat Galway in the second time. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I know I was reading it today. It's 18 games or something since they last won.
Is he still living in Cork, is he?
I don't know. I presume so. I don't know, but I don't know anything about Hendo, to be honest with you.
When you're trying to stir it anyway.
No. I just think that if the bottom 2 teams, a Cove or second bottom, surely you're under pressure if you're not winning,
Fair enough. We shall now go. I don't think the mailbag is as hefty as last week, but it's still fairly hefty.
Well, I think one of the things about the mailbag is we only got it up about half an hour before, or 45 minutes before the pod started.
Postman pattern in black and white cat mix race. Early in the morning.
Dickie, how long in advance do you normally like to get it up in?
I knew the second they said it that was coming. I want to make a joke about pills now and everything else, but look, I'm not going to. Let's keep moving forward.
Are you far off that age?
Shots fired.
My birthday was last weekend, Dan, and yeah, do you know now? I'm nearer to 50 now than I am to 40.
Pills, right?
So
back in the day, I'm not going to say who. Some certain fella who used to go on the buses used to hand out liquid Viagra to everyone.
What?
I know, this is back in what year was this?
Straight into Blazers and Longford.
Late 90s, early 2000s. No, it was the early 2000s. I'd say it would have been actually. He used to just like lash out liquid Viagra randomly. I'm not sure if anyone took it on the bus. Hopefully not, but yeah, those were the days you could do that kind of shit. Like,
good Christ, the security on the old gates. Is that a flare in your pocket? Or are you happy to see me? Right, gets to get into this mailbag. Boring Keane Coleman, the weekly getting to know you questions, and my developing shrine to Decky are unconnected. Lads, what is your worst habit, and what is the habit in any other person that drives you mad? Feel free to mention your wives, obviously. Like,
okay, so my habit is the thing I hate is people talking while they're eating. It's disgusting. Like, I don't want to see you eating your mouth. It's horrible. Like, just stop eating with your mouth full. And lots of people do it. My bad habit is lots of them. There's too many.
Bollocks for biting my fingernails.
Picking my nose, rolling it and flicking it.
Decky, go on.
Yeah, I think my bad habit is talking with my mouth full. I really enjoy doing it, and I don't see why anybody would be. I don't see why anybody would be upset or bothered by it.
That's backfired.
Jesus, what happened on those liquid Viagra away days? Christ.
No, I don't actually talk with my mouth full. I was trying to be funny. Do you know what I do hate? The habit I hate in other people, and I don't know if it qualifies as a habit or not, but it's the first thing that pops into my mouth. A limp handshake. You know, I don't like people
forgot about that.
Don't shake your hand properly. Like, you know, just like if you're going to put out your hand, then shake it. Like, take my hand and shake it. And, you know, I always stern handshake for everybody. People with limp handshakes, I'm always wary of them, to be honest with you.
I interrupt people. That's my bad habit. Constantly.
I think we all do that on this this lag in this old system here.
What have you done?
What I hate in other people.
Yeah. What's your ick? How do they call it these days?
Oh, what's my ick? Girls with like chipped finger nails, like would the paint be chipping off it? Yeah, I should take a scaldy.
Jesus, okay.
Dad, you need to have a serious you need to have a serious reevaluation of probably your whole life. I'd be honest with you, if that's what you're coming up with, like. But seriously, like,
yeah. Wayne asked for the ick.
What do you like? What's the opposite of your ick? So, what do you like the most, Dan?
Oh, my mind went to somewhere else now altogether, Wayne. So I best not say.
Jesus. The youth of today. Jesus.
Anyway, Jason Shannon says favorite Grand Theft Auto. I only ever played 5.
I played the first one and the second one. What was the first one?
The first one was like 2D.
Yeah, that's when was the first 3D one? That was Vice City, wasn't it? Or no?
It was the third one that came out, wasn't it?
Yes. The last one was okay, but I remember I had a demo of the game. I played a demo, and then I said to buy the game because I thought it was so good. But I never played the game after that. So I'd say 3. I think it's Vice City is 3, wasn't it? I think.
Decky, have you played GTA?
No, I have not. Never. No idea.
You got your answer. Garrett the Donny Moaner Barry says, why do we have 45 minutes like? ? When am I getting petrol plus expensive for my dogging reports? Where Eileen? Incredibly well put together written sentence from the dogger there.
We pay for some elocution lessons.
Is this VPN money? We actually had to reach out to NordVPN to pay for all this dog and petrol money that's going on.
Maybe we should get an official report every week from
It should be like the WhatsApp lads. Like, we won't pay you, but it would be funny.
Yeah.
Don't encourage him, lads. That would be my my advice.
Oh, I think it's the best part of the show.
Jack Keller says, why are we being cautious away from home in the first division?
We've been through that.
We didn't really say why, though, did we? Yeah.
Because I suppose we just need to get promoted. Go unbeaten. Isn't that what we asked for day one? We said, Timothy, sit down there now. We want to go unbeaten this season and win the league. And he's doing it.
Yeah, I think Wayne is right. I think Tim's sole focus is on winning promotion. He's not really overly bothered, I'd imagine, by how we play or what the fans think of anything else. Like, his job is to get us promoted, and so far, as I said, you can't argue with that aspect of the job he's doing. We'd all like to be a bit more entertained, a bit more, but look, you said that's his job, is to get us promoted.
Liam Roach says, saw Usher at the match on Friday. Any chance he could slip me a tenner for subjecting myself to that live?
The Usher at Cork City FC, I would say.
Yeah, I'm...
We can't answer that, like.
No.
Finaldo says, he has a photo of the boys at the start of the game here. A few impressions. We lack composure in front of goal, and we don't have a plan as to who's meant to get on the end of balls coming into the box. It seems muddled. Also, apart from the lack of a good 9, sorry Murph, we're solid, aggressive, and should win the league. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Jackie,
he's right. We are solid. Yeah, we are solid. We are aggressive. We will win the league. There's no should. We will win the league. And I think, look, we've spoken about it a million times. I do think the 9 is a key part of what we're missing.
Mm-hmm. Roy O'Sullivan says, when is potentially our next home game? I was kind of looking at it. Look, it looks like May.
Wexford on the Monday of the bank holiday, of the May bank holiday weekend.
Would you put money on it?
No. Well, they have to have it open for that weekend. The women's team are at home on the Saturday to Treaty. That game is on TG Cahir. Like, it just has to be.
Do they really
open
care,
for
though, Decky, to be honest? I know you're kind of emphasising it has to be up, but do the club really care if TG Cahir are down or not? You know what I mean? This isn't their Ireland under 21 game or something.
Yeah, but I'd say the club certainly care. They want the exposure. Plus, the negative feedback from it not happening would be huge. There would become an issue with TG Cahir.
Yeah, I think Dan's right.
No, it would become an issue with TG Cahir. It would become an issue with the league. It becomes an issue with the FAI. I think everybody is focused on the ground being open for that weekend.
I hope it is, because I think they deserve, after all this time, they absolutely deserve it to go be live on TV. And I think Danny, James, and the girls and the coaches absolutely deserve it. But I do worry that if it doesn't happen, are they really going to?
But if it doesn't happen, then the game on the Monday can't happen. The Wexford game.
They have they have excuse. They can say, look, the pitch isn't ready. MFA decision.
Yeah,
they have a get out.
Yeah, but you're not like if the women's game isn't played on the Saturday, then the men's game can't be played on the Monday, which means we're then men's wise, so we're away for home for 7 weeks running or whatever. Like that can't happen either. Like,
well, the ground shouldn't have been shut down either.
I don't think there was any choice, to be honest with you.
No, I mean it shouldn't have got to the stage of it being shut down. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And just on the Musgrave Park as well, I meant to say it last week. There was a Women's Six Nations on there this week, and they had the Six Nations sponsors on it, on the pitch. So it does show you can clean it, wipe it off, and wipe it and draw it again.
There was also some schoolboys games played in Musgrave Park this week that Alan Bennett had up on his social media. I can't remember what they were now exactly, but it was like national schools, county finals and things like that, and they used to always be played in Turner's Cross as well. So those games were moved to Musgrave Park from Turner's Cross, evidently.
Okay.
They were played in Musgrave Park?
Yeah. No, they're only smaller pitches, you know. As I said, it's national.
It was interesting. Did they get rid of the lining, or did they just line over it?
I don't know. I'd say maybe they might have even lined it. Like, I don't know for for the level that's being played as well. Like, you know, I can't answer that though. To be honest, I don't know.
Roy O'Sullivan comes in and says, when is potentially that was the question we just answered. Colin says, what is Decky's favourite former American president? My guess would be JFK, but his knowledge of American history means it could be someone else.
Yeah, it's probably JFK, because if he lived, it would be a very different world now. But I also admire people who can just sit and lie. I can't lie. Like, I'm not very good. I couldn't sit here and tell you barefaced lies. Like, but so, like Richard Nixon after Watergate, and just sitting there and going like, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. Like, when you're as guilty as hell, like, you know, that takes some balls.
Who's your leak in the club?
Bill Clinton's whole, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, why everybody knew he was knee deep in it as often as he possibly could be. Like, you know, there's a level to that kind of shithousery that I do admire. But yeah, he's probably right. JFK, like the whole who killed JFK thing just fascinates me, blows my mind. We're not going into it now, Dan, so don't ask me, but one aspect of American history is that whole...
No, actually, I was reading something last week that Woody Harrelson, right, you know, the actor in the States, they're saying he's related to who's the fella in what's his name?
McConaughey.
Yes, that there's a relationship that Woody Harrelson's dad is actually McConaughey's dad, and he was married to the sister of Lee Harvey Oswald. There's a link there somewhere in it between them all. I must look up the link. I might have it wrong, but there's a link there between Woody Harrelson, McConaughey, and the guy who shot JFK. 35th president of the United States.
He didn't shoot JFK. But anyway.
Jester says the pitch and the cross.
We've done it. We've done it to death. Like, we've done it. There's no more. Go back to last week's episode. Go to the Patreon episode. There we go.
Philly Crowley says likely return date to the cross if City's poor performances away from home continue, and now they have a run of away games. Could the MFA be answerable if City drop places and it affects their promotion chances?
No,
they're taking zero responsibility for that.
No, look, the MFA have been in charge of us for the last 35, 40 years, so nothing we can do.
Connor says preferred stadium for the rest of the season, bar the cross.
Musgrave Park.
I'm the GA lad, so I'm saying Parky Keeve.
It would be nice, but it would look crap if we couldn't fill one stand.
But the Gaelic footballers only get 3,000, like for a lot of their games.
You could probably play it on the training pitch behind with the smallest stand.
You couldn't pay the rent in Parky Queeve anyway. I have no idea what it is. But we're getting into stuff here that's never ever going to happen. Turner's Cross is going to be reopened. We'll be back in Turner's Cross. But to answer the question, Musgrave Park, they're the only outfit. Munster Rugby have already said, they told Dylan O'Connell, he did a piece in the Echo, that they would engage with us and were willing to sit down and discuss it if we needed to use the facility for a length of time. So, yeah, Musgrave Park holds great memories, but I don't believe it will be a necessity. I think the Cross will be back open, hopefully, and we just get back to winning games there.
Do you think we will go 4G next year or in the foreseeable future at Turner's Cross?
Look, this season has said it's probably the correct thing to do, but I don't think they will. The MFA don't have the money for something like that unless the government, it comes in a government grant, or the FAI do it or something. I wouldn't think it. Obviously, you'd probably say, Wayne, that you think Cork City should nearly pay for it to ensure that the cross can be usable, etc. But I couldn't see that happening either, to be honest with you, you know.
Sean Goggins says, any chance of getting Damien Delaney on the pod? Well, we just had him on earlier. We had him on 2-3 weeks ago as well.
Yeah, like
now.
obviously
will we ask?
obviously we don't know who sent in the WhatsApps because we only have phone numbers. But
no, I have phone number. I never tell you who it is.
No, of course, yeah, you don't. But I mean, as I said, I just feel like Mr. Goggin there might have some connection because it's a very random question to ask otherwise, you know.
I think it's been retweeted as well by probably one of his mates laughing in the background.
Right, okay.
We should ask anyway.
I'll be honest with you, I have no interest in having anyone in the club site on anymore, to be honest with you. None.
There you go. To our Instagram questions, Dar_Will_13 says, excluding Cahill and Jaden, if you could keep one player for next season, who would it be?
Oh.
Only one.
Brad Wade.
I was just going to say underrated shout, Brad Wade.
I think I'm going to make a big shout here. Can I make a big shout before you talk there? I think he's player of the season so far.
No. Can't be. He's not facing enough issues.
But when he does, he's sharp, ready.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. But like,
I would say signing of the season, so put it that way.
We face the least amount of shots. Like, he faces, of all the keepers in the league, he faces the least amount of shots on target. He has to make the least number of saves, you know. So, I think it's hard. But no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he's when he's been called upon, he's been proven to be very reliable. Like, so you can't take that away from him. Going back to the question, I actually think, obviously, I've a great love of Jack Doherty, etc. So that would be one. But I do think by the time we get to the end of the season, Evan McLaughlin might be the dark horse that has turned up and proven to be quite the player.
Yeah, he was decent against UCD, I must say. He's impressive game. But I do agree with Wayne. I do think Brad Wade. I think I was going to go him. I think underrated shout to have a keeper in there. If he was not to keep going back to last season, but if he was in goal,
that's half the reason, though, isn't it?
Some things would have been different, but it probably is just fucking PTSD from that. But Jim White comes in and says, Gordon Walker or prime Steve Finnan.
What?
It's random, but there's the obvious answer is the obvious answer. Like
Gordon
every day of the week, yeah.
So you wouldn't have that Liverpool lad anyway?
Not a chance, no.
Right. And that concludes our mailbag. Are we going to Where Did You Go, Wayne?
No, because it's an hour and 30. Jesus.
40. Oh my God. I thought we were doing well enough for time. Right. And that concludes this episode of the other three Amigos podcast. Before we depart, any last words of wisdom you'd like to give to the toe tappers?
Yeah.
It feels like there's something I'm forgetting to say. Sorry, go on.
I'll give my speech. Go out there, play for the shirt, play for the fans, play for your city, play for your county, play for your pride, play for your family. Go out there and get 3 points against Longford. And show us the Cork City you really are. And batter them off the pitch. And come home. That's what
Jackie.
That's very inspirational there now from Mr. Mullins.
It's like a Captain America speech.
Oh yes, there we go. There's the pod name anyway. Captain American. Wayne's head superimposed onto it somewhere along the line. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. Just something like it feels like there's something I meant to say that I've forgotten to say, so it can't have been that important. But look, yeah, just
is it like news or something?
No. I'll tell you the news off air now in a second when we're done.
Oh shit.
But no, I think just look to all the toe tappers.
We might be re-recording in a couple of minutes, so
No, I'm only joking. I'm just trying to wind up the toe tappers. As I said, I hope all the toe tappers have a good week. Everybody stays healthy and everybody returns to listen to another segment next week. And until then, I shall say adios.
Adios.
Adios. Au revoir.